Hi, my name is Jason Elsgood. I'm a born and bred Aboriginal Territorian and a keen recreational fisherman, living here in Darwin on Larrakia country in the Northern Territory. My company, Cross Cultural Consultants, have been working with the Northern Territory Seafood Council in the development of a cultural education and representation project. The project is aimed at fostering greater cross-cultural understanding within the fishing industry here in the Northern Territory. This is part 3 of a 6-part podcast series, and today we will talk about why it is so important to participate in community cultural awareness and orientation programs prior to conducting work in Aboriginal communities. Every community has a history and every community has a rhythm. Often the rhythm stems from that history. For example, in farming communities the rhythm is often about seasons, or in an industrial society the rhythm is about productivity, working from 9 to 5 and shift work, etc. Every community has a rhythm which stems from their historical journey. For many people who have only ever lived in one rhythm, they assume that their history is similar to everybody else with a few minor differences, and that therefore the rhythm should be the same. However, when we're working with Aboriginal people, they have totally different rhythms to the dominant culture. We spoke earlier about the concept of kinship. Kinship, along with ceremonial life, form key parts of the rhythm of an Aboriginal community. It's not just between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people that complications arise. Take as an example Indonesia. Between the Javanese and Balinese there are different rhythms based on religion and specific challenges and values in the individual islands in which they reside. The only way we can understand these differences is for an insider to open the door, or at the very least open a window so that we can look in. From these community orientations and inductions, you get a sense of what's happening to the community now, the things they think are important and want to continue, what have been some of the impacts of their history, and what else might influence their rhythm. It is important to remember that life in Aboriginal communities is very different from life in our own urban spaces. Often life expectancy is quite short, the turnover of non-local staff is quite high, and quite often there is not long-term corporate memory left in the community. Part of the process of becoming familiar with a community is that somebody must tell you what has happened in the community and why they place importance on certain things. Having a local community induction allows you to ensure, as an outsider, that you are attending to things and projects which are of value to the community, rather than attending to those things that are significant to you and your rhythm. That's all for today's podcast. I would like to thank you for listening. This has been part 3 of a 6-part podcast series for the Northern Territory Seafood Council's Cultural Education and Representation Project. To learn more, visit www.ntsc.com.au or check out the Northern Territory Seafood Council's Facebook page. This project has been delivered by Cross Cultural Consultants and the Northern Territory Seafood Council with funding from the Australian Government.